Hello Namibia, and welcome to your daily lunchtime show where we get to catch up on current events and headlines that are in the news. My name is Priska Anyolo and you are watching NMH at 1. Let us first have a look at the incoming news this morning. This morning's session with representatives of the gas and oil exploration company Reconnaissance Africa, in short Recon Africa, that plans to conduct seismic mapping in the Kavango area did not go as planned by its environmental consultant, Dr. Sindila Muya. Environmentalists quickly turned the meeting into a public hearing, and media insisted that the meeting be streamed live, contrary to what Recon Africa wanted. The crux of the matter seems to be that Recon Africa is promising different approaches and outcomes to the investors than what they tell the Namibian public on a piecemeal basis. Be sure to watch the press tomorrow morning. Moving on to our COVID-19 update. According to the latest available data, Namibia has 1,244 active cases of COVID-19 with a national recovery rate of 95%. Our map shows the 35 health districts in the country, with the color scheme serving as a key in order to illustrate the number of confirmed cases reported since the start of the pandemic. Districts colored in white have less than 500 cases. Regions with the largest numbers of active cases are Oshana with 215 and Kavango East with 210, while Erongo region records 137 active cases, Oshodonjupa 121 and Khomas 117. The recovery rates are shown in yellow. Regions with recovery rates lower than the national average are those experiencing an increase in new cases. These are Kavango West with 60%, Kavango East at 73%, Zambezi 75%, Ohangwena 87%, and Oshana 89%. The Kunene, Omasati, Oshikoto, and Oshodonjupa regions have recovery rates between 90% and 95%. As always, next we bring you video news clips from around the country. In our first video, Minister of Urban and Rural Development Erastus Utoni addresses local authority councillors at a workshop in Oshiwarongo. The week-long workshop is aimed at equipping the newly elected councillors with knowledge of legal and policy framework. Esther Kamati, our correspondent, attended the event and submitted this clip.
So, the problem is, now when you go to local authority, now that you are in, you are telling people, they were your friends when you were campaigning, very good friends. But this time around, the burden is on your shoulder. What you need to do, you have to go back to them and tell them, these are the services that I'm rendering to you, pay for it. Now they are scared to go back and tell them pay because they thought, no, when Utoni comes here, the matter is going to fall. But this is very challenging. You have to go, but now to go back, you are scared. It's my people. It's my people, they voted for me. The same people you say they are your people today because you don't want to go there and talk to them. After 5 years, they will come and say, yeah, no, nothing, you did not tell us anything, but you were scared to mention that pay for water, pay for electricity. Today, as I'm talking to you, some of local authorities, you are indebted with millions with electricity. Huh? But now, instead of going back to the community, tell them, you come, minister, 30 that they have their minister. Oh, does the ministry generate income? I think we know our ministry very well. The money, the funds are being generated from where? From your local authorities, isn't it? But you are scared to go there. I'm saying local authorities, it's a big challenge. When you are outside, you think I'm going to do all the wonders. But when you come in there, now you ask the official, how much do we have? I know this is only what we have. But now what can we do? They will tell you, no, Honorable Mayor, Honorable Councillor, go to the community. They did not change. Then you look down.
The Kavango East Secretary of the Swapo Party Youth League, SPYL, Anselm Marungu, talks about their support of Kavango East Governor Bonifacius Wakudumo, who has been under attack for appointing Chinese businessman Charlie Minshi in December 2020 as one of his advisors. Wakudumo has since reversed his decision. However, the pressure group demands that President Hage Geingob remove Wakudumo or alternatively that he resigns. Kenya Kambowe sent us this video clip, and we do apologize for the quality of sound.
In December 2020, Honorable Bonifacius Wakudumo appointed a Chinese national, Mr. Singh, as his advisor in economic areas. That appointment did not sit well in the ears and the hearts of the residents of Kavango East region, and hence a demonstration was organized by a group called KECG, Kavango East Consent Group, demanding for the removal of Honorable Wakudumo from office. But before the demonstration was to be held, Honorable Wakudumo withdrew the appointment of Mr. Xi and further gave a public apology. Now, despite the fact that Honorable Wakudumo gave a public apology, there is still a certain group of few individuals that are still pushing the agenda of Wakudumo to be removed from office. Now, those that are calling for Honorable Wakudumo to be removed from office should perhaps consider the following questions. Was it Wakudumo who was the governor when Stina Wu built the 2 shopping malls and the houses in Rundu? The answer is no. Was it Wakudumo who was the governor of the region when the Chinese started exporting timber from Kavango East region? The answer is no. Who was the governor when the Chinese opened their shops in Rundu? Was it Wakudumo? The answer is no. Who were the governors when Kavango East region was rated the poorest region in Namibia since independence? Was it Wakudumo? The answer is no. Did the consent group stage a demonstration against the above mentioned? The answer is no. So let us also be fair with each other on this one.
Ongwediva Town Council spokesperson Jackson Muma said the third phase of the construction of the fire station, which construction started on the 27th of November last year, is expected to be completed by the end of March. He said the new building will consist of the sleeping quarters for emergency personnel and a security guardhouse. He said that this will allow council employees to respond to fire incidents on a 24-hour basis, which currently is not the case. Tuemo Haidula prepared this video clip.
This is nothing formal, it's just pitching to you to give you basic information on what's happening here. We have the third phase of the fire station being constructed. It started on the 27th November and we are expecting it to be completed by the end of March 2021. So the third phase of the fire station construction encompasses or entails sleeping quarters for our emergency personnel so that they can respond here or to emergencies on 24-hour basis from the fire station. And that also will help us as a town council to respond to emergencies, you know, with an improved time. Because as of now, these emergency officers, they have to be picked up from their residential area or from their place of residence to respond to an emergency, and that takes time. Now, with the construction of sleeping quarters here, our time will be improved from 15 minutes to at least 3 to 5 minutes responding to emergencies. Now, what I'm telling you now is that it happens, our response time, which is 12 minutes currently, it happens during weekends, public holidays, and after hours. But during the normal working hours, everybody is here at the fire station, so we respond on time. So what we are saying is also that we want to protect and safeguard the investment that is, you know, that is here in town. As you can see, Ongodiva has grown, and you know, we have a lot of infrastructures. They need to be protected. That's why we have our officers to be stationed here 24 hours. Now, apart from now the sleeping quarters, we also have a security guard house that is being constructed so that we protect our officers from natural conditions, you know, like wind and rain and others. Yeah, although we already have a space for them there, we feel that it's good that they have a dedicated place. So this project has been awarded to ID building contractors. They are the ones doing the construction, and as such, it's costing council about 1.5 million.
If you're feeling how I'm feeling and you know I won't stop, all we gotta do is take our love to the top. If I got it and you want it and you'll never let it drop, all we gotta do is take our love to the top. I will ride for you, baby, even die for you. When I'm loving you, but my heart don't stop.
And now we move on to our newspaper dailies. Looking at the front page of various Namibian papers today, we see that all three of the NMH papers lead with Air Namibia on their front pages today. The Algemeine Zeitung has an interesting lead today, now that the gas and oil exploration seems to have totally dominated recent environmental events. The Namibian Chamber of Mines has publicly expressed its support for the phosphate mining project at sea, as planned and presented by the Namibian company Marine Phosphate. The Dr. Chris Brown, an executive of the Namibian Chamber of Environment, in fact is quoted in terms of expressing an opinion that seems to support this endeavor too. The Namibian Sun on its front page focuses on the former chief regional officer of the Omaheke region, Maria Vaindwanana, who previously had resigned amid corruption allegations. A government investigation now recommends that she should be held personally liable for alleged tender irregularities to the value of 7.3 million Namibian dollars. The Republican tells us on its main page that the first vaccines against COVID-19 in Namibia can only be expected to arrive towards the middle of March. A national coordination team is currently working on a strategy according to which priorities will be managed. The Namibian leads with the heading, NIDA official in dodgy 30 million Namibian dollars tenders. Once again, we see a public official, in this case, an employee of the government-owned development agency, being accused of supposedly dabbling with tender procedures and unexplained transfers of funds. New Era has a very sad story to tell on its main page. The reporter Uaripi Kashikua has investigated the plight of Swakop artisans, especially the street vendors who find themselves begging for food in the time of the COVID-19 pandemic. And on the inside of our country's newspapers, you'll be able to read up on the following. On its page 3, the Allgemeine Zeitung refocuses on the ever-present occurrences of gender-based violence. It remains a huge problem in Namibia, and unfortunately, we do not seem to see some real solutions and/or active steps being taken by the Minister of Gender Equality, Poverty Eradication and Social Welfare. So far, it would seem as though she only reacts to incidents where the public starts protesting, but otherwise is not seen to be finding real solutions. On page 2, the Namibian Sun reports about homesteads at Sikondo in the Kavango West region along the Namibia-Angola border that seem to take heavy strain as a result of flooding in the area. The Republican on its page 3 raises hopes that COVID-19 testing can be done in a faster manner now that the government, according to the executive director of the Ministry of Health, Ben Nangombe, plans to introduce spot tests at the border as well as communities with a higher incidence rate. On page 3 of the Namibian, you can read up on the mayor of Anipa, David Kambonde, who says he is not going nowhere. According to Kambonde, the district executive committee of the town did not follow correct procedure when they attempted to recall him as a mayor of the town. Amid all of the GBV cases being reported every day, the New Era paper on its page 3 reports that alleged rapist Gavin Gawanab has pleaded not guilty to 23 charges, including the rape and mutilation of a 10-year-old girl in 2018. He finds himself standing accused of attempted murder amongst other offenses. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have finally reached the end of our show. I've been your host, Priska Anyolo, live for NMH at 1. We thank you so much for tuning in and hope to see you again, same place tomorrow as well. Please do stay tuned for the weather and stay safe. Goodbye, Namibia.